I'm Dr. Deb Butler, and you are listening to Thinner Peace in Menopause and Beyond. This is episode number 280. Welcome to Thinner Peace in Menopause and Beyond. This is Dr. Deb Butler, Master Life and Weight Coach, and as always, your coach. If you're a woman and you're smart and you're successful and you've been struggling with weight your whole life, and now menopause is making it harder than ever, and you are ready to make this the last time you ever have to go on a diet again, then this podcast is for you. Stay tuned. Hello, all my dear friends. My dearest of friends, how are you today? Well, I'm not going to get a lot into my personal life other than to tell you that I'm just a bit tired. I never say that, but I've got one more celebration to do. I told you last week my anniversary was coming up, so it is. It's this weekend, and we're going to do some more celebrating. We've been celebrating. It's just like one celebration after another. I love to celebrate, but you know what? I'm ready to take a break, if you can ever believe that I would say that. But I'm so thrilled that I get to celebrate so many years with my husband, and so it still will be a celebration. And then 2-3 weeks after this, one more, his birthday. So between my birthday, July 31st, and his birthday, September 4th, we do a lot of rocking and rolling. And I utilize every single minute of it without a lot of overeating or overjoy eating. Even though I have to say, over the last few days that we were gone, I was really ready to come home and actually eat more vegetables. And I want to tell you a little bit about that sometimes, even myself, I'm just a human being, I still might overeat or I may have more joy eats. And the beauty about being connected to your body is even when that happens, I know exactly how to bring myself back. Because basically, I just start feeling uncomfortable. Probably the same thing happens to you. And if there's no beating yourself up, if there's none of that, and your body just says, take care of me, it's just so much easier just to come home and just start at your next meal and eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full and eat fuel food, which is really, that's all I'm doing. And I'm already feeling so much better, and I feel so well taken care of by myself. So always know that on my program, because I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what a weight loss coach does today and a little bit more about my program. But I want to tell you that when you're working with me as a weight loss coach, is that you will find yourself doing things that you wish you didn't do. And part of what I do as coaching is to teach you how to take care of yourself and how to use self-compassion and how to help yourself come back, right? Because the longer you punish yourself and the longer you shame yourself, the more you tend to overeat, the more you tend to wait, the more you tend to not take care of yourself. So when you can just figure out what happened, for me, it was just a celebration that went on a little bit too long. It's okay. I understand. I come back. Today, my first meal, it's just so easy. I made myself some zucchini soup. It tasted good. I didn't eat a lot. I wasn't very hungry. That's just what happens. And very slowly, me and my body are connecting again, and everything is going smoothly. And that is all you end up needing to do. Just FYI, that if you're following my program, if you're eating when you're hungry and you're stopping when you're full, and then you notice that you overeat, or that you eat a joy eat when it's not planned, or you have too many joy eats, your body will alert you. It doesn't feel good anymore. But you don't have to use your mind as punishment. You just use it for awareness, because that is what I want to talk to you about today, is how to use your brain for more awareness and what does a weight loss coach do. So what is a weight loss coach? Because that's exactly what I am. And I don't think I'm a lot like a lot of weight loss coaches, because we all kind of do different things. And when I got into coaching, maybe about 8 or 9 years ago, and I started with Martha Beck, I just learned about life coaching. And I learned some beautiful tools. And what I learned about life coaching is that it is beautiful for anybody that is already well functioning. They're getting along in their life, but they want to go forward and they want to make it better, which is exactly what life coaches do. They help you move from good to unbelievable or excellent or awesome, from okay to a whole lot better. And the tools that we use and that we teach help you do that, because what we do is I teach you how to have awareness of what's going on in your mind. So when I was doing the Martha Beck coach and I was doing coaching and I was learning all of these tools, and we were talking about our niche is, what we want our niche to be, who I wanted to talk to. And I realized that all of my background was in body work, nutrition, acupuncture, all of that. And I was trying to figure out how to put the two together. And then I heard a woman who is part of Martha Beck's coaches ask a question and did a group coaching call. And the name of the group coaching call was Why Do You Eat When You're Not Hungry? It's the first time I ever heard that question. And it was by a weight loss coach. I had never heard that term before. And that is how I met Brooke Castillo of the Life Coach School, was way back. That's when she was first starting her own weight loss program. And from there, she ended up starting the Life Coach School and teaching coaches how to do weight loss, how to do life coaching, so many things. But then it was the first time I ever heard it, and it resonated with me immediately. And of course, she asked a question that was very pertinent to me that I had never heard before. Why do you eat when you're not hungry? And as soon as we talked about that and we started hearing the answers, and I started thinking about, why do I eat when I'm not hungry? And oh my gosh, it brought up so much for me, because I was a Weight Watcher at the time, a lifetime Weight Watcher, and I was either doing my Weight Watchers or I was out doing whatever I wanted, which was eating when I wasn't hungry, because I was using food for all kinds of reasons other than fuel. It was my first aha moment about me and my body and my connection, but it was also the first introduction to a weight loss coach. I really do think she termed it back then. And oh my gosh, I'm so grateful to her for that, because that's when I decided what my niche was going to be, is I was going to become a weight loss coach and I was going to learn from her, which is exactly what I did. And I went on to her life coach school, ended up getting a master's certification in life and weight coaching from her, started teaching within her life coach school, instructing and certifying her coaches. And it's just been this unbelievable journey, but it all started out with the question of, why do you eat when you're not hungry? So, what is a weight loss coach? Well, it's a life coach. In other words, I think I am a life coach first and foremost, because I always want to help people move forward in their lives. The difference between a life coach and a weight coach to me is I use food to bring up all your life issues. Now, not all weight loss coaches do that, but that's exactly what I do, and that's what I love, and that's why I think that my Thinner Peace process is so good, is because the process is bringing up all the reasons of why you eat when you're not hungry. And it shows up in journals. So yes, many of you I know have used food journals before, and I know you love it. But if you think about a food journal as a journal, because that's really the way I use it, there's probably nothing else that you do in your day more than eat. And so there's no better way of figuring out what's going on inside your head more than if we just look at what's happening when you're eating, especially when you're eating when you're not hungry, when you're not using fuel, when you're doing more joy eating. It brings up all the blocks and holes that are in your life, which is why I think I've had so many of my clients come on this podcast and talk about how life-changing it is. And that's because weight loss coaching really is, at least for me, it's a combination of looking at your life through food. Now, here's the most interesting thing about weight loss coaching that I want you to know is that we use food, but I don't tell you what to eat. That's the least part of my program, is telling you what to eat or even caring that much what you eat, as opposed to why you're eating and are you fuel eating? Because in the end, we really want to be able to use food for one reason. We want to use it to fuel our bodies. It's the way we were made. It's the way that we're connected to our bodies. It's the way that we're wired. And how we got so far off track is where weight loss coaching comes in. What happened to you? And you know how we find out? You know how I find out? You know how I do my coaching? Is we look at when you're eating, what's going on. If you're overeating, what's going on? What's going on in your mind? And what I do is I actually get in your mind with you, because basically that is probably what I'm best at, is I'm like a thought ninja. I get inside your mind. I see what you're thinking. I show you what you're thinking. And then I have you question your thinking, because here's the thing. When you're by yourself and you're eating and you're not hungry, you've got all kinds of reasons that make total sense to you. 1, I had a hard day. 2, the food is so delicious. What else do I do in my life? This is the only thing where I get any joy. It's the only time that I can be spontaneous. I heard that today. We use food for so many other reasons, for holes and blocks in our life. Now, if I, as a weight loss coach, can help you see that, I can also help you see how you can think differently. Now, when you start to really realize the connection of, number 1, knowing when you're hungry and knowing when you're full. When I first heard the concept of why do you eat when you're not hungry, I had no idea. I had no idea about eating when I'm hungry and stopping when I'm full. I thought it was the most magnificent concept I've ever heard. And people still think the reason a lot of people hire me is just because I do that. Like it's so novel. That's how far off track we've gotten. And as women, much more than men. I don't know why. But we connect so much of our image to food and food to our image. And we don't know how to separate it, because how we feel about ourselves doesn't have anything to do with food. Yet if you're anything like me, and I didn't even realize this till I got weight loss coaching and life coaching, that I was equating my body to my success in my life. I believe they went together because I was told that. And then I used food as punishment if I wasn't getting what I wanted, and that my body wasn't the way that I wanted it. And I learned it early on. And the way I learned to cope with it is to go to Weight Watchers, is to become a lifetime member, is to lose the weight over and over and over and over and over again. That's what I learned how to do. That's probably what a lot of you have learned how to do too. When you work with me as a life and weight coach, and I call myself both because I do both. And for many of my clients that are listening to this, if you hear them on my podcast, they're going to talk about so many of their life issues that they worked out through a cookie, through a bite of a brownie, through an extra glass of alcohol. It brought up their stuff. That's the beauty of food when you're looking at it from a weight loss coaching perspective, which is my perspective. And so when I'm looking at food journals, it's like nothing you've ever experienced before. Because what I do is we use numbers. We use the physical hunger scale numbers, eating between the 2s, and then what happens when you're not in those numbers is so much coaching perspective right there. Then I teach you all about the emotional hunger scale, and we start using that. And for many of you, I know that when you're listening to my podcast, that emotional hunger scale is much more difficult for you to understand, because that's really why you're eating when you're not hungry. and you live inside your own body and you live inside your own mind and you can't see it. You just think that you can't control yourself. But really the truth is that when you believe that you cannot control yourself, you will not control yourself. When you believe that food has more power over you than your mind has over it, you will prove it true. As a weight loss coach, I show you the difference. I show you where you're doing it, and I show you how you can do it different. You become accountable to me so I can show you the thoughts in your head that are creating the results that you don't want, so I can help you create the results that you do want, not just with your body, but with your life. That is what's so phenomenal about my life and weight coaching. And it sounds like I'm bragging on myself, but I am, because I do think that it's miraculous what I've created. And I know I'm not the only one that's doing this, but I do think I'm one of the few coaches that is really good at understanding and teaching you the difference between your own emotional hunger scale and your physical hunger scale. And when you can see, and I show you the holes that you're creating in your body with your own emotions and teach you how to feel them instead of eat them, when I can teach you and strengthen you to feel an urge without giving into it, that is weight loss coaching at its very, very best. So whether you're overeating or you're having too many joy eats or you're fogging with your joy eats, I can show you where it is because you're going to show me. And I'm going to teach you with your own brain how to retrain your brain so that you can think differently about the food that you're putting in your mouth. It really is where life coaching and weight coaching come together. We use food to bring up all your obstacles, not only around your body, but your life. I cannot tell you how many times I've coached somebody and it'll end up going back into something that happened to them when they were 6 years old. Something that somebody said. You know about the podcast I did about inherited thoughts? There are a lot of thoughts that come from a long time ago. And the difference between life coaching and therapy is in therapy, I'm not here to help you heal your traumas. If you've been traumatized in your childhood, therapy is an excellent tool for you to use. But if you're just looking at thoughts that you still have from your childhood that's been healed, but you're still believing the same stuff, that's exactly what I do. I can't tell you how many inherited thoughts I've shown my clients that they've been believing that they think is just true that gets in their way. So what can I say? I'm a weight loss coach that does life coaching, or I'm a life coach that does weight loss coaching. But I am a master. I'm master certified at both of them. That means that I've had a lot of extra hours of training. And there's nothing that is more beneficial or more pleasing to me than to watch people's light bulbs go off in their heads about the food that they're using. So can you imagine? You eat and you learn everything there is about you. It's not what you're eating, it's why you're eating. And that is what weight loss and life coaching that I do is all about. We look at your life and we look at your life through your eating. The two go together like you just can't believe. It's like the most thrilling thing when I learned it. And now I want to teach it to you. So when you're listening to my podcast, you hear me coach other people and you hear stories of how I've coached other people. And now you're hearing what exactly it is that I do on a day in, day out basis is I pick out food from people's food journals to find out what's going in their brains that's pulling up all the stuff and all the obstacles that's allowing them to weigh what they weigh on the scale. The scale is just like a symptom of when you're eating, when you're not hungry, what is going on. It's just a symptom. You come to me to lose weight. What you end up getting is so much more. So if this is something that you're ready to do, if you're ready to move forward in your life from where you are and make it what you've always wanted to be by using food, then I just might be the coach that you're looking for. And my Thinner Peace process may be exactly what you need. If this sounds interesting to you, I have mini sessions that you can come and talk to me so that we can find out if my process would be good for you and if you and I would be a good fit to do this. All you have to do is go to drdebbutler.com/work with me, and you can set up an appointment. And if nothing else, I hope you understand what I do a little bit better and how your life, especially in menopause, can get so much better. I take you from a good life to a great life, and we're going to use food to do it. So the only other thing that I have to say, because you know this anyway, part of my Thinner Peace process always involves self-compassion. I teach you as a weight loss coach and a life coach how to be kind to yourself. Some of the things that I teach are so elementary, and yet we don't know how to do it. How to eat when we're hungry and stop when we're full, and how to be nice to ourselves. It sounds so simple, and yet it's so foreign. So, hey, I'm not going to end this podcast without telling you this, but I just wanted to add the self-compassion to this before I tell you and sign off, that no matter where else you go and what else you do today, please, please, please be very kind to yourself, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye. If you're loving my podcast and you would like some more information to be able to follow along with, then please go to drdebbutler.com/change, and you can get a free copy of my companion book that goes with this podcast that I refer to in many different episodes. That is drdebbutler.com/change, CHANGE.